Kate from KHG Arts, and in today's stitch library video we are going to be conquering the turkey rug stitch. It's also known as turkey stitch, turkey work, or ghiordes knot because all the coolest stitches have a ton of different names. This stitch eats up a lot of floss, so I'm starting with a length a bit longer than the standard 18 inches, and you do not need a knot on the end. Just work as is. Okay, we're going to be starting from the top, and you can go from the bottom to the top, side to side. Any of those are fine. If you're concerned about the definition of your outline, I really suggest working the entire outline of your shape first and then creating fill. It can help give you a little more defined edge. That especially comes into play on my alphabet sampler, so that the D looks more like a D and less like an O. In this case, I'm going to be starting in the top left corner. Again, we're starting at the top of our work. I'm going to pull through until I have just a bit of a tail, pass my thumb over it and to the side so that that stays put and doesn't just get pulled down to the back of my work. I'm working left to right, so I bring my needle up just a couple threads away from where I just was. And I pull all the way, my thumb's holding that tail in place so I don't lose it. And now I'm going to exit again just to the left of where that tail is. This gives me a little tack, and because it's tiny and tight, it helps that tail stay put. So my next move is to come up kind of just underneath that tack. Okay, you can come up straight above it, like right here. I find that angling it and coming up below it can really give my stitch a little more stability. So here I'm pulling all the way. My exit point is going to be just to the right of that, a couple threads away. Pull until I have a loop about the same height as that first tail. Okay, it's not a big deal if it's done a little twist like that, but just to be neat and tidy, I'm going to undo the twist. Come up to the right of that last loop leg, pull all the way. Again, my thumb is holding the loop in place so I don't leave it, and I'm going to exit just to the left of that last loop leg, and actually I can use the same hole as the last tack where it ended. So essentially I'm creating a little line of back-stitched tacks, and above them the loops come out, so they're offset. Each loop is going to be divided. The first leg is going to sit under the previous tack. The last leg is going to sit under the successive tack. So first leg sits under the last tack, pull through, hold it to the side with my thumb, exit just to the right of that, pull until I have a loop the size that I want, come up just to the right of that, there we go, exit just to the left so it meets where my last tack ended, and repeat, repeat, repeat. Here I have finished my first row of turkey work. Instead of just starting, continuing on and starting a line below that, to get a more defined edge, I'm going to actually turn my work and start a new row, new clean tail on this side. So I'll start all over again. I'll start from the top, right in that corner, leave my tail, pass my thumb over it, hold it in place, come up just to the right of that, pull all the way through, exit just to the left, the other side of that tail. That gives me a little tack. And my next loop is created by coming up from just behind that tack. I pull through, I exit just to the right, so I'm gaining a bit of ground. Pull until that loop is the height, the length that I want. Untwist it. Come up to the right and down to the left. You'll see here that though my tacking stitches will use the same holes and sit end to end like the bricks of a backstitch do, my loops themselves come up and next to each other. They do not use the same holes. This gives you a more stable result so that your loop has some ground to sit over and on top of. They're a little bit less likely to get pulled through and are more secure in the long run this way, I feel. Okay, so I'm going to go all around this letter and then I will show you how you can finish it. So here we go, guys. Here is my finished filled in square. If I pull this to one side, you can see those nice defined corners. If I open it up, you can see there's some space in there. I didn't work mine super closely together. On this end, I worked them a little closer together. As with all embroidery stitches, you, the stitcher, get to decide thickness, density, length, and the stitch will change in appearance based on your choices. But it doesn't mean it's a wrong choice. It's just a different way of affecting the stitch. As I mentioned before, the other name for this stitch is ghiordes. That's most likely in reference to a town in Turkey where ghiordes or ghiordes rugs were popular. That's just one possibility for the origin of the name. But you'll see that it really does look like the pile on a rug or even a lawn. Now that I've got this, here comes the really fun part. Make sure you're ready for this. Get your stitches in there, and you can grab a few loops at a time and cut them open. Obviously, you don't have to. You could leave all these as is. There's so many representational and abstract possibilities with this stitch. You could create a gradient of different colors. You could use really, really fine threads to create animal fur. You could use it to create some really abstract, cool texture. The choice is up to you. So I've got most of these. I like to snip them open first, but you can also just come in from the side, and now you get to really cut and decide, do you want a curved shape to it? Do you want to like buzz it all the way across at one length? I find it's helpful to turn it sideways, and then I can really see my height and cut a little at a time. You might want to turn it as your threads bend. I have just my little pair of embroidery scissors here, but you might benefit from using a bigger pair of shears. Again, it's always good to experiment with different tools for the job. But here we go. You'll see I can pull these together. The shorter I cut them, the more defined shape I'm going to have, and you can get really finicky here with the length and get it all pretty. A little comb, a beard brush, or an eyelash comb can be really helpful for getting these super nice. Additionally, you can use a bit of fray check or Thread Heaven, a thread conditioner, to manipulate the threads to stand just the way you want for whatever effect you're going for. But that's it. That's the ghiordes knot or turkey rug stitch. I hope this has helped today, guys. Make sure to leave any questions or comments right below, and visit me at KHG Arts for tutorials, patterns, and more.